The reason you keep forgetting everything you learned in your lessons isn't because you're dumb, it's because you're taking notes the wrong way, and here's how you're going to fix it. The Cornell note-taking method is scientifically tested, and it makes sure everything you learn in your class actually sticks. You divide your page into 3, just like this. At the top, you write your name, the date, and the title. In the main section, you're going to write all the notes from the lesson, bullet point it, make sure there's gaps in between ideas. Subheadings is always a great idea. You can highlight any key points or key formulas, but just keep this as efficient as you can. Make sure you're writing everything you need to write in the lesson so that you can come back and all the information you need is in this section. The left-hand column is the cues column. You're going to write any key names, keywords, dates, formulae, etc. in this column. What you need to do is, after class, you read through your notes again and you write these key points. This begins your active recall journey, and the spaced repetition is crazy. At the bottom is the summary section. So what you need to do is, after the lesson, when you get home or in lunch, you summarize all of the text in 3 or 4 sentences to make sure it's concise and help your brain remember it. Why is it so effective? So basically, it doesn't take up any of your lesson time trying to organize notes and make it really beautiful. It just reminds you to do bullet points, make sure everything's clear, effective, and make sure you're actually paying attention in lesson instead of trying to make neat notes. Then you're going to get home and you're going to realize that you have to fill out the summary and the cues for each of your subjects that you had that day. So you're going to spend about 5 minutes per subject, but it basically forces you to do some active recall, and it begins the journey of spaced repetition because you've had the lesson where you've learned everything, and then you've already reviewed everything on the same day. So instead of your memory curve dropping like this, it will keep it boosted high as possible. You may think it's kind of pointless because you're never going to review your notes, but realistically, if you have messy notes and they're all on one page, then you'll definitely never review your notes. But if you have it really nicely laid out with the key points in the section and a summary, then when you're revising, you can read through it really quickly and make sure the key points go into your brain and none of the waffle. Okay, this is a VIP tip to only those people that managed to watch this point in the video. Basically, I adapted this method specifically for GCSEs and A-levels, where I added an extra column on the right-hand side, and I titled it like exam questions or anticipated questions. So what I do is, after the lesson, when I'm at home, and I'm writing in the cues and the summaries, I'd then write in possible exam questions that could come up on this content. So it means, one, you're thinking about those questions as you write it, and ideally you have a separate document where you write the answers, or you just make a mental note of it. But then it also means when you come back to revise, then you're going to have a list of questions that could come up. And instead of having to like search up answers on the internet to get model answers, you have all the information you need on that page. So this is just goated way because you're basically predicting all of the questions that could come up in your exam as you go through every topic. Now you know how to take Cornell notes, you will be unstoppable. So lock in.